going. It's moving and it's done. All right. Gonna record.
Hello, everyone. Here we are. We'll be starting the show very shortly. You're just going to hang out with me for a couple of minutes while our hosts get ready. As you know, this is episode 91. So welcome. Make sure that you have something in hand. I'll probably have, some scotch on the rocks as usual for this. And I don't know if you guys heard, but recently, as I was informed by one of our hosts, you can try to guess in the chat, see who said it. But if you guys know the Cuomo chips, Cuomo is our governor here in New York, and he required everybody during COVID to order food with alcohol, and that's over. He called it off finally. So I know that there was a bar somewhere here where they didn't serve food, and so what they would do is put just the tiniest dab of peanut butter in the middle of one slice of white bread, and then they folded it in half, and then they put it in a plastic bag and set it on your table, and you didn't have to pay for it. And that was their workaround. So we don't have to eat any more of the worst peanut butter and jelly sandwiches that we've ever had anymore. We can just have alcohol straight up. It's good. So you should enjoy that. And that should be great. But the other thing, sorry, I'm looking and I'm noticing, look at that, I got this straight tan line right here, right there. I was wearing my mask outside for a few hours. So, that gives me that nice raccoon look. If you want to do something different this summer, you guys can try that out. Just keep your mask on. You can look just like me. It's great. So in any case, I don't have my drink here, so we can't cheers or anything. But I'll tell you that we got some cool guests lined up for tonight. And I'll leave you to find out who they are. But they're pretty cool. I don't want to give anything away before our hosts come on. And so there was one other thing I was going to ask you guys, but we just have to kind of sit around. And the other thing I was kind of wondering, I wish you guys know that you guys can talk to me in the chat. So I'm just curious if there are any other laws that are being lifted, how far you guys are on your vaccinations. And I've gotten my first one, and I think I'll be finalized in like next week, Wednesday or something like that. So, and my fiance, she hasn't started getting her vaccine yet. So, all in all, it's like not being vaccinated. But when you're with a couple, you gotta get the whole family done. So, but anyway, now's about the time. It's that we should get my ugly mug off of here and get our two beautiful hosts. So I want you guys to go get your pots and pans if you don't have them by your side already. Give you 5 seconds to do that and start banging them together. Let's hear it. Let's bring on Christian Felix and Schnally Bowman.
Woo!
Hello. Wait, stop.
I mean, how many years have you been an intern? That emceeing was masterful at the top of our show. It was
No, Dad. He's on the back. He came back. He's got a suntan. as I prefer to choose. I choose to call it.
You do.
'Cause
It's a
I'm
choice, Chanel. I want to underscore the fact that that's a choice to call what Justin has tan, but I'll go with the
I just call it style, you know.
happy spring, Justin. Happy spring. You look like the pink moon, homie.
In the background in your room right there, no?
Exactly. I harness the pink moon. I
That's
harness
like a
it
pink
right here.
orb. He's got the pink moon following him.
Now, Justin, are you going to join us? How we start the show? Because I know you like it.
Oh,
I know you like to
do it.
vamp.
I gotta get my cards.
Okay.
Yeah, get those cards.
Intern's prepared.
We're doing this.
You know, it's close. It's close. Where are your cards?
They're right here, my man. And
I got my cards.
a 2, a 1,
A 1,
2,
2,
3.
3. We don't even know. We don't even know. With Christian Felix, Chanel Ball, and Justin the intern. We don't even know.
One more time, people. We
don't even know.
No, we don't.
We don't even know.
With
Christian Felix, Chanel Bowman, and Justin the intern.
Justin the
We
intern.
don't even
We don't even
know. Chris is bringing it. You guys, ladies and gentlemen.
I know what you're doing. I know what you're doing in that song, Shanali. And I'm telling you, we're going to make it better.
Look, Christian, Justin, we're making the best of the pandemic. The pandemic episodes have been us doing that song in a round. It's a very special event for those of you at home.
You could call it a round. It feels like a square. Tell you that, especially the way you practice it.
But you know, the fact that all of us don't hear each other at the same time is not our fault. That's technology, and we're doing the best we can. I am happy to say that we are all almost fully vaccinated. We're getting there. And we're slowly joining the rest of you in venturing out into the world right now.
It feels like a whole new world, Shanali, doesn't it?
It feels like a whole new world. It's happening. I got to tell you that I have been having anxiety. There's a transition period that I don't know how long this is going to take for us to feel normal. I definitely think
you better catch up because you know the CDC, even more important, the CDC just announced, Shanali, that you don't need to wear a mask outside.
Christian?
You don't need to wear a mask outside when you're in small groups. And guess what, Shanali? You don't need to wear a mask when you are dining.
All of you all that are listening to this, ignore Christian. That's what I'm going to say. Check your own city, state regulations.
Last I checked, CDC was a federally mandated agency, but
Cuomo's chips. That's all I got to say. No, I'm going to say, no matter what the CDC is right now, slow your roll. There's a worldwide surge going on.
You're not going to promote that, Chanel? You're not going to promote that knowledge?
I have family that lives in India, Christian.
Well, of course.
So let me just say, I am not on this fast pace out of this thing right now. I am staying slow and steady throughout this. I am not eager to hug tons of people outside. No, I'm not. But those of you that are, you know, we all are on our own journey. We talked about this.
Man, Chanel, you're really reflecting the either or time that we're living in right now. It's just
we are.
Only wear a mask or not wear a mask. I'm kind of trying to find that area in between. I'm looking forward to relaxing a little bit, but I agree with you. I'm not ready to get into bear hugs anytime
soon. Lord.
But that's just one of the many things that's going on, Shanali.
That's what I was going to say. So look, we've discussed this. I'm not going to go in detail, even though I did with you. I got my wisdom teeth pulled, you guys. Yes.
Is that what it is? Is that why you a little less wise?
Maybe that's it. Maybe that's it. I do miss them. I can tell you, I miss them. I'm having some issues chewing. I feel like I need my other teeth.
How
I
much did
do.
you chew back here before?
It was two of them back here, and you're right. I don't even. They were just there. And then they were like, you don't need them. Eventually, So I got rid of them. The other thing is, we're all on this slow roll to venture out into the world. So being out in nature, I've been taking longer walks. I have been out at the seaport. I've been walking to Battery Park much more often, hanging out with the seagulls. Um, but I will tell you that I'm not sure if nature is ready for us. They've had a break from human beings, especially in the United States, at least most part, in New York at least. And nature is thriving. I'm not sure if they're ready for us.
Nelly, can I just
And
interject? Because I'm having a
yeah.
very visceral reaction to what you're explaining, because
Mm-hmm.
I think nature is not just ready for us. I think they are waiting for us.
Exactly.
No, not exactly. I was walking through Madison Square Park on a beautiful spring day. As you know, there are amazing benches that you can sit in Madison Square Park. And I will tell you, Shanali, that all of a sudden, the person or thing sitting next to me was not a person. It was a squirrel, literally 2 feet away from me. And all I'm saying is that the person next to the squirrel decided it would be cute to offer it a chip. Maybe it was a Cuomo chip. I don't know. Offered it a chip. Squirrel proceeded to actually said no to the chip and then looked at me. And Shanali, all I'm saying is that I had to get up from the bench and get to safety. And so
Everyone that has listened to our show in the past knows about Christian and squirrels. That is a special relationship that he has with them. We've covered this before. We've shown videos of squirrels that were around him, surrounding him, and this, I understand, is probably pretty upsetting for Christian to watch this squirrel right there beside you on the verge. Probably was he staring you down in any way, Christian?
it was a hungry squirrel, Shanali, and
Well,
a desperate manifestation of nature that
well,
you need to be mindful of. Okay.
and this is what I'm sharing with you, Christian. This is why this show is for Christian and I, pretty much, because I am here to share something that I think he would appreciate, and I am with you.
I gotta hop off real quick.
Okay, so
okay, in turn, way to make a graceful exit. Bye.
The only way I know how.
So, the thing is, Christian, there was a chain of events that happened earlier, a few weeks ago, maybe last week, and it's a viral sensation, this event, but I think you would enjoy. Have you heard about the rabid bobcat in North Carolina?
I did hear about that story. It popped up on my morning headlines, and guess what, Shanali? Haven't watched it. No need for nightmares. No need for actually.
You didn't watch the video.
It would be night terrors.
Well, you are possibly right. For you, it would be. For me, it was a cross between a nightmare and one of the most hilarious videos you've ever seen. It was so amazing. This happy-go-lucky man, he and his wife heading out. He's got his tray of brownies. And in the South, we say hello to people on the streets. He's waving at his neighbor jogging. He's like, hello. His name is Happy Wade. That's his name. And he is waving. And honestly, he feels like somebody I know, somebody I grew up with. And he's talking to himself. The security camera in his home is capturing this. And he says, oh, I need to wash my, at first he waves at the woman. Then he's like, oh, I need to wash my car. He's putting down he's getting out his keys. And his wife they were going to the veterinarian. She's got her cat in a cat, what do they call those containers? Because I don't have a cat.
A cat caddy, I think it was a cat caddy.
She's got a cat caddy. And she's walking, and you hear the scariest. It is a really unnerving sound. And honestly, you don't even know what it is until you hear her screaming, because out from under a car is a cat that we presume a cat, until you see the husband struggling to get this cat, which is a huge bobcat, off her back. And all of a sudden, yes, this is
Oh
what,
my
thank you,
God.
Justin.
Oh my
He
Lord.
he grabs it in his hand. That's the neighbor that he had just waved at. And Mr. Happy Wade is like, oh my God, it's a bobcat. And he's like looking at the eye and he's looking at it for a few seconds. And I just want to share with you, since you're not going to see the video, a few of the stills. Could you go to the next one? Oh yeah, there's the one. Look at the leg on that thing. You see how long that leg is on that cat?
Wow.
Can you imagine if that
Wow.
cat was on your wife? And then, he just throws it like, I mean, that man saved
Wow.
his wife. He
Wow.
saved his wife. Yeah, one more time. There we go. There we go. It was unbelievable. And I got to say, Mr. Wade, I'm so impressed with how quickly you rescued your wife. She had scratches. They had to go to the hospital. He had scratches. But yeah, he took care of that cat.
All
And
right, we get the picture. Thank you, Justin.
yeah.
Thank you. We can stop
So,
sharing now.
yeah. And so, those of you out there, this is to say, I'm in support of what Christian's saying. I am just saying, be wary, be careful. We got enough to worry about. We've got people to worry about. We've got a pandemic sort of hopefully, on its outs, but we have to be careful. But we also have to be careful about wildlife right now. You don't
I
know
think
what's lurking out there.
it's a good public service announcement.
Yes, thank you, Christian. So that was just for you. Someday you'll watch the video. I can't wait. I cannot wait.
Someday I may, but I want to continue liking nature, so maybe I won't. All right, shall we continue on?
Yes. Are you ready for us to introduce our first guest?
I've been ready. I've been so looking forward to this.
Well, we are so excited to have her with us. We were introduced to her not so long ago. We were invited to a workshop of a play that she wrote by our friend Jason Butler Harner, who is a former guest on our show, who knew we would be interested in watching this workshop. And we were so blown away by her. And she's just an award-winning playwright. She's also a poet. She's also an actress. She lives here in New York, which I was excited about. It's always nice to have more brilliant people around you. And here she is with us tonight. We're so excited to have her. Her name is Stefani Kuo. Let's hear it for Stefani. Welcome, Stefani. Welcome,
Applause on
Stefani.
Zoom. Applause on Zoom. Applause on Zoom.
Thank you for being with us.
Of course.
Hello. Oh my God, I love your bed. I gotta say, that is a cool. I mean, really, you have like a real bed. You know, in New York, it's hard to have a real bed.
Well, I just have to say that this is not my apartment. So that is why there is a real bed, because it's not my home.
Do you happen to be in New York at the moment?
I do, and I happen to be in someone's beautiful home where there are real furniture pieces.
Lovely, 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 lovely. Well,
I love making that clear to the world, just because we all live unusual lives in New York City compared to the rest of America. Mm-hmm. And it's like, there's so many, success stories here, but we don't. I mean, I have a platform bed. I still have a tiny bed. My husband is over 6 feet tall. His legs hang off the end because it's a full size bed, because you can't fit a queen in my bedroom, and that's, and
the only queen that can fit in your bedroom, Shanali, is you.
Oh!
I mean, you got to get your brownie points where you can get your brownie points. Stefani, thank you so much for being with us today. It seems like you have your hands in so many different pots and projects going on. Shanali and I got a chance to see the reading that you did with the Kitchen Theater. And despite some technical difficulties during the reading, you're over it. I know, like doing reading.
Those actors were amazing, though, that we did see. What we saw was so great. And really, we were so struck by the scenes we saw and your words coming through their mouth, that even with the technical glitches and not seeing the whole thing, it was like we called you. I instantaneously wrote you. How did you feel like at the end of that event? Were you able to get past the?
I mean, whatever. It was fine. Like,
Yeah.
The play, the cast was great. Like,
Mhm.
I feel like the whole process was great. It didn't air, and I was sort of like, this, no offense, seems pretty on par with like the rest of the world. Like, a bunch of like artists of color make a thing, and then the white people fuck it up. Like, that sounds about right. Which kind of is what it is. And I was like, this aligns with the country.
But they were so well intentioned, right? And so as we continue the conversation, to get the rest of our listeners who perhaps may not know about the theater piece, weren't privy to it, I would invite you, Stephanie, to give kind of a description of the project, if you'd like. And so Conservation of Parody is the name of the play.
Yes.
And so, yeah.
Yeah, so the play is called The Conservation of Parody, and it's basically about this woman who's a real woman and who just got on a forever stamp for anyone who's into the post office. But she was a physicist who was in China, and she came to the US and basically became the only Chinese female physicist to work on the atomic bomb, and thereby ending World War II. And so, like, for me, it was a super interesting play to work on, and just like a story to tell. The physics was really hard, and I took so long to learn it, but also just because she's someone who came from another country to America for the sole purpose of getting an education to go back home, and in the process of doing that became irreversibly American and could not go home. And there are so many parts of that are really interesting. Like, for example, by the time that she could return home after the wars, she had to give up her old passport because that country no longer existed because it was a new regime, and she had to become naturalized as an American. So she really became fully American in this process of creating the bomb, and like by making the bomb, like achieved the American dream in the most possibly violent and destructive form, and what that does to a person's psyche. Anyway, that's what the play is about. And it was really dope to work on it, and I was just really glad, and I'm glad to be here and connected.
Oh my gosh, there's so much. Go ahead, Christian.
Well, I just have to say that like the subject matter and the person that you were kind of what the play was all about was just so compelling to me, based on everything you just said, and these competing forces that people need to reconcile to come up with some kind of semblance of a self and coherent identity. Also, the idea of, the fact that she was a woman in like a male-dominated field and not getting. So there's so many things that kind of the story represents. But I have to say that what was really most impactful to me in the experience of that, for the facada of a play reading, was really the conversation that well, not really only the conversation, but the whole experience. I believe that we had a moment of silence at the beginning to kind of acknowledge what was happening in respect to Asian American community. The fact that many of these artists of color were and did represent some form of Asian culture and Asian origin and American. And then the conversation that you had with the director and the moderator afterward, that was just very frank and honest and open. And I don't mean to go there right away, but it is still something that we are. I get overwhelmed with the fact that we're still dealing with this to the extent that we are, in terms of violence that's being directed towards you. So I guess my question to you is, in that moment, considering kind of the fact that you are an artist working and operating in this environment, what I guess it's an open-ended question, kind of like what's top of mind for you, and what's important to you right now?
Yeah, that's a really good big question. I just think I specifically I do a lot of things, but I guess in this context and in the context I've been thinking about as a theater person and making art in the theater industry, I strongly believe that the American theater is inherently xenophobic in just so many ways, and it comes across obviously in the way that they tell stories in terms of race and how they don't want to represent people in terms of race and its complexities. and also language. But I think that there's so much, I mean, what happened in Atlanta and the shooting was devastating to me personally, and I would say to like the whole team that worked on this play. We finished rehearsal for the play, and an hour later the shooting happened, and it was like we went through this whirlwind process of working on this play that was so intense and told this story about this American hero who was a Chinese woman, and then the shooting happened, and it was like a total wipe of like what we had been working on trying to do with our work. And it felt like, and then like, you know, not to say that this is what they intended to do, but I think like even with that presentation of that reading, the technical difficulties made it so clear to me that there's so little respect for the stories that people work so hard to tell, that are Asian, that are international, and that, you know, that there isn't enough support for it, really. I mean, technically, sure, over Zoom, but then also like, you know, you walk into a theater and like, how often is it that, for me, I work on a play and then I go in to do a reading and then they're like, wait a minute, you need subtitles? And I'm like, yes, I need subtitles. Like, of course I need subtitles. What are you talking about? Like, the reason that you say you can't do my play is because you don't have the capacity for subtitles, not because the audience doesn't. And like, what does that mean when like the industries don't support what you're trying to do? It just, yeah, I've been thinking a lot about that and like how exhausting it is for Asian artists to have to do all the legwork. Like, I have to know all the actors who can speak the languages. I have to know who's fluent and who's not, and who's lying and who's not. I have to know where to get the funding, how to convince people that it's doable, how to find an audience base, how to show them where the audience base is, like all this stuff. And I'm like, why can't y'all do some work? It's really not that hard. So, yeah.
Well, I have a follow-up question, but I want Shanali,
I was going to say one of the most interesting things about when you were sharing your story is that you actually are someone that's grown. You came here as a young girl. Were you 12 or 13 or something?
14, yeah.
14. And then you still, though, you're not someone that's here that, like me, I am a product of two immigrants that came here and was like, we think we want to stay, right? There was a time frame that you know, there was a time, and this is where I sort of connected, that my parents were considering going back when I was 12, you know, and there was like arguments about going back to India or not, or what, you know, but in general, for me, I really never took that seriously. I'm American, and I considered them Indians, which is interesting, not Americans, and that when they became naturalized citizens, when they became citizens here, like when they were 40, I thought, wow, maybe they're sort of becoming Americans, you know? And you were talking about your being here, but always thinking of going back. Like you consider yourself, you are from Hong Kong and Taiwan? Is that like you're
half? Yeah.
Half, right. So like you're here in this space, you know, trying to make it as much of a home as possible, but in your eyes right now, it's not home, right?
Right.
Is that, you know, I'm just like, I love this transition that you're going through because, you know, it goes back for me to where my parents were and them sort of maneuvering who they are. It's all about identity. Who are we? Who the hell are we?
Yeah, I mean, isn't that the $1 million question? If only
yeah.
I knew.
Yeah. Because you being here and making this work for you, but yet still sort of thinking you're not going to be here in the long run is interesting to me. Like even with my parents, I'm always like, what was that like? You know?
Yeah.
It's a unique space. It's different than Christian and I, for sure. You know?
Yeah, but also at the same time, you know, like the longer I'm here, the more it is home. And like, but then that's also home. And like, can you have both? Right.
Yep.
And like, can you have both? And like, is that greedy? I don't know. Like, you know, like what
I don't think it is greedy. I don't think it is greedy. And Stephanie, I think this actually brings me to my follow-up question to you, which is, I think given the, you know, to your point, I take a fairly critical lens to our history and to the past sins of our country and how that informs our present. That being said, I hear from your story and I see from you where you are showing up that you still see a value into being here. and into buying into something that we call whatever this American identity collective individual is. And I think that we're living in a time that is so polarizing. Everything's getting politicized. You can argue everything already is political. That's another story. But in this politicization and polarizing time, I do think that we can trap ourselves in a either or mentality. You're either American or you're not. You're either, born here or you're not, or this and that. And I think that your narrative and in some degrees, myself and Chanelle's reflects it's going to sound so corny, but a both and. I mean, it's second city. It's a both and type of thing. And I guess what my follow up to you was, where you kind of characterize, some of the, whether it be technical deficiencies or this or the subtitles, this notion that there's always kind of a heavier lift for people from our spaces who are more marginalized and underrepresented, or have been historically. And then you have somebody like Andrew Yang, who, is running for the mayor, and I can see you're laughing a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think that it's one, he wrote an editorial which essentially was inviting Asian Americans to, in my opinion, to do more work, to be more American, to show and broadcast this fealty to the country, and anyway, that's and it got a strong reaction from a lot of folks for, I think, good reason. But I think it fits into a narrative of assimilation that has kind of really come from a lot of different kind of marginalized groups. And my question back to you is, given that so I guess, do you agree with the idea of both and you can be one and the other? And what do you think about Andrew Yang's position in respect to how to respond in this moment?
Yeah, I mean, I think both and is the answer. I think a lot of people can't accept it. Like, people who aren't like us are like, well, what do you mean? Like, I think that's maybe it's like a lot of gaslighting, I think, in like society, because I think like what you were saying about being really critical of this country's history and how we got here is a form of love. I just think like being critical of where you are in history is just actually a really helpful way to making the country better. And so what's up? Like, that's the answer. I think it is.
You care.
Yeah, you care. And if you're making like this podcast, if you're making art that is based in and about this country, you're contributing to it. I just think it's like a contribution, and like, yeah, the idea of contribution only as like glorifying is so silly to me, because whatever, we don't need that. I mean, there's so much of it already. And I think Andrew Yang, oh geez. I just think that, I think there's so many, I was so excited early on about him. I was like, look at that face, looks like mine. And the more I found out about him, the more I was like, what the heck is up with this guy? And, like, I saw that picture from Instagram a couple weeks ago, or like last week on 420, where he was like, made that like weird Instagram post about like him, like in a weed facility, and I was like, what is this guy doing?
All right, so Stephanie, without getting too
getting
too in deep with your political endorsements or anything like that, would you be mad if he was mayor?
I think yes, but not because I think the trap, right, is like, the trap became, if you're Asian, how can you not support Andrew Yang? And I think that can't be the answer, right? Like, I'm like, Andrew Yang has so many political views and like policy ideas that I don't agree with at all. And I'm like, well, I'm not gonna vote for him just because he like looks like me. That's silly. And also he wrote this post that really showed me, like, he wrote this post about, I don't know, like I forget for what, Chinese New Year. He was like, it's Chinese New Year, everyone have a good time eating mooncakes. And every Chinese American was like, you don't eat mooncakes on Chinese New Year, dude. What's up? Like, that's wrong.
You don't even know.
Right? It's wrong. like,
he's trying to get brownie points from the Asian community. He's got it all wrong.
Got it all wrong.
Yeah.
So, like,
Hey, listen, for as flawed as Andrew Yang is, I'm happy he exists. And to the extent that, listen, and Janelle and I haven't really spoken a lot about some of the criticism that I really developed in respect to Obama. He's not perfect, but I'm glad he exists. He did a lot more good than bad. The jury's still out in terms of Andrew Yang. But I see that we
businessman. He's a businessman. He's running for mayor of New York City for business reasons. I'm sorry.
Fair enough, but I don't want to end the video or this interview.
We want to know about you backpacking and nature.
Backpacking and nature. But before we get onto that, Chanel, because that we can end on, I do have a question for you, Stephanie. And this is one that, in all sincerity, you can say, I want to skip it. Let's move on to backpacking and nature. But, I think something that I'm grappling a lot with is kind of the engagement from other folks in respect to what we appreciate and what we don't appreciate, what we're looking for, what we're not looking for, and what we need in respect to kind of what engagement looks like from people who perhaps may not be part of our group or impacted in the same way. And I know that you're involved in several different communities, one being the playwriting community, the Yale School, other communities. And you can answer this in as broadly and as specific, or again, not at all, but is there any kind of engagement that you're looking for given the circumstances and the environment right now from people who perhaps aren't Asian American, aren't feeling the impact of what's happening now, but what has always been happening, in the broader context? Anything to say?
Let her talk. Let her speak.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always looking for so much engagement. Like, I just think that, I mean, as someone who grew up not in America, I've always found it really interesting how little most Americans know about the news outside of America, right? And like, there's so little, even on the New York Times on a regular basis, on the front page, that has, like, it's always, you have to scroll down to find out that India is having a problem with COVID, right? Like, how far do you have to scroll to find out anything about other countries, or how deep do you have to read, and how much do you have to Google? Which is why I mean, 2 years ago, wow, crazy. 2 years ago, I started a blog about the protests in Hong Kong because so many people were like, we don't know what's going on. Like, we don't know where to go. And I'm like, you don't know where to go? Okay, then I'll make you a place to go, so that you have no excuse but to go to the one source where I compile all the sources. And like, I think that it's not hard. We live in an age of the internet, and I think there's so little that should be used as excuses for why you don't know things. And let's say you don't have the capacity to know about other countries, fine. You should definitely know about what's going on with Asians in this country if you live in this country. It's your country, and we are in it, so you should know about us. That's just I just think, like, you should know about us because I know about you. I know all about all of you on some level, and I try hard to know more. So you should try hard to know more about me, especially if we're interacting on any level. I'm just like, I think there should be no excuse for you being able to see me in a fuller capacity.
Wow, right. I love that.
Well said.
Know about me. I know all about you. That's something that I could just tell my white friends in general. Like, that's it.
Yeah, like, I know so much about you. I know so much about all your ancestors, yada, yada, yada. So, like, learn a little bit about me.
I love it. Okay, but I am going to ask you this before you leave, because, our friend Jason brought up you as a hiker and a backpacker. Are there any spots, just between us and our listeners in this area or in the United States that you think, like, we should go to and take a trip in the outdoors?
Well, I mean, I haven't done a ton of hiking in this country because I can't drive, but that's another problem. But I mean, near New York, Harriman State Park is really beautiful. I mean, it's close. It's like within an hour's reach. You can take a bus. I took a bus there. I went on a camping trip. That was awesome. Having a car makes it way easier, but you can take a bus. You can just like hop on and get on, and Bear Mountain is really great. Super nice spot.
Yeah, I haven't been there yet. These are both places.
Bears in Bear Mountain.
I did not see any bears. I mean, I think there are bears.
Do you bring any implements? Do you bring any implements for protection?
I mean, the first time I went, I did not. And I recently acquired bear spray because I'm going on a long trip to Vermont. So I was like, I should get some. But I think I think it's good to have it. It's good to have it. It can't hurt. But I haven't heard of anything bad happening there. And like lots of people go and like,
Do
do their
you
thing.
can you use that on squirrels?
I'm pretty sure you can. I feel like it might be overkill, but I'm pretty sure you can. I mean, it might just be like really overkill on the squirrel.
We got to get Christian through this, but I love those wrecks. I'm going to go. I wanted to go to Bear Mountain. I just brought it up. I was like, I've lived here forever. I've not been. It's time to get out. We can deal with the bears. We can deal with the bobcats. We definitely can deal with the squirrels. We're going to make it happen. In the meanwhile, all of you listening, please remember Stephanie's name, because let me just tell you, at a certain point in time, you'll be like, oh my God, I saw her on We Don't Even Know. And she just won this amazing award for a play that was on, not that you want to be on Broadway, because who knows what Broadway can be or what's possible. But you are doing so many amazing things. And this play, Boarding Call, is also something that I read about, and I want to see it. So I'm sure you're going to put some of these productions on as soon as we can all be in the same room together. And
And
we're going to be there.
if I can add, Stephanie, seek out her name, but seek out her voice. I just want to say I'm so happy that I was able to hear your voice through a play, and also hear your voice through the talkback. And finally, thank you for accepting our invitation to being here and hearing your voice in a more casual and delightful way. It's awesome.
This is so great. I'm so glad to meet your faces.
Yes. And when we have a dance party, which will happen next year, you're invited. Okay.
I love that.
Totally.
Thank you.
We'll enjoy that space that's not your space, but is your space right now.
Yeah. Bye.
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 Oh, no.
Oh my God, time flies.
That was so fun. Thank you, Stephanie, for being with us. That was so cool. Christian, your friend Jason and Mickey and I decided we're over. Bye. We don't want that. No more.
Wow, is that why you were wagging your finger? Okay, like choose joy, Shanali, in all your moments of life, especially during this show. So we gotta keep on moving.
Look who's talking.
Okay. Hi.
Well, look, Mr. Hi. I want you to share with America one of your new. Yes, let's do this. This is important.
Ooh.
Wait, hold it up because you got your blurry filter on. Okay, America. Christian has moved over into the Crocs world, and this is not because his friends encouraged him to do this. This was his own choice.
Well, that's not necessarily true, Chanel. I do have one friend who has relocated to the upstate area, and during that migration, his fashion choices, or lack of them, really changed dramatically. And he came back into the city, and I remember meeting up with him, and and we were in a trendy area of the city. I mean, arguably every area of New York is trendy, but we were in Williamsburg, and he literally met me on the street in Crocs. He had these Crocs on. They were tie-dyed, really intense moment for me, because then I'm associating myself with him, but he started speaking to the benefits of wearing Crocs. This happened about 6 months ago.
Okay.
Callie, I'm not traveling a lot right now. I'm staying in my house. All of a sudden, my dogs start hurting. My dogs start screaming out for some sympathy. I'm going to tell you something, Shanali. I get my Crocs. Justin, can you please share this picture, please, quickly? People.
Oh my God.
I went to the trouble of showing my Crocs some love in this form of artwork. And I'm telling you, I took this picture, Shanali, I'll just finish up with this. I took this picture because I literally did not want to get into bed and take my Crocs off because they felt so good. I'm not getting paid by Crocs. I know we got to get our next guest on, but I'm just telling you.
Well, I'm going to give you this. All right. Your ankles look skinny when you wear those Crocs.
I ain't worried about the ankle weight, Chanel. I'm worried about my heels, my arches, and plantar fasciitis.
Things change during a pandemic, and you're looking good. I like the color. I will say that much.
Thank you.
But I do know you will have a whole list of friends when you discuss the subject with them. It wasn't me that were not on board.
Oh, people got so they turned into haters. They were like, "Get those out of my Zoom screen."
These aren't people; these are your friends.
My dear friends, and they were like, "Christian, that's a bridge too far. Don't ever show up with me in public or in person with those things on." And I feel sorry for you. Those are basically the messages I got, not just from my New York friends, but I do think it's at the point now where I'm just like, you better be careful, because I'm looking into more crock buying.
Okay. See, I love that honesty. I think that's good. And you know what? This is a great conversation to bring in our next guest.
Yes, I'm sure. She's so stoked on this.
Yes. So everyone, we have a wonderful guest that's about to join us. And we're also so honored and we're so happy that she said yes. I met her a few years back in Nashville, and I was just so into her energy, her like sense of humor, her awesome hair, and we connected just laughing and talking. And then I stumbled into the world of how she is a brilliant singer-songwriter, a superstar, if I may. And she's here with us tonight from Nashville right now, Meghan Linsey. Let's hear it from Meghan. Woo!
Meghan, thank you. We'll keep up the applause because it's just me and Chanel. You're connected on the Wi-Fi, and I'm not a singer.
It'll come in because I just hit a minute. Yes, I did.
Oh,
I hope I
off mute. And can we get?
Yeah.
Oh!
There she is.
Oh my God. Yo, the color combo with the couch and the sweater and the hair and the this and the
plan this. This is just who I am.
I love
that's what
it.
I'm saying. That's who she is. That is who you are. That's how it comes together. It just comes together. Like I met you, and this is how I was like, how is her hair matching? Like behind whatever was behind you. I just remember, bam, and I had like your energy and who you are, not knowing about your talents, just who you are as a human being is such a lovely person. We're so happy you're here.
Thank you.
So cool.
Oh, I'm happy to be here. You guys are so fun. I'm sitting here all alone. It's really quiet. And then all of a sudden it's a party.
Where are you calling in from, Meghan?
I'm in Nashville. I'm in my studio right now.
And how is Nashville right now? Is it mask on, mask off, vaxxed up, vaxxed not?
Nashville never, to be fair, Nashville never really shut down as far as like the downtown area goes. Like the touristy scene was more like just full on. But the locals have been really good. So
okay,
that's awesome.
You can go to Target and everybody has a mask on.
Oh, there you go. I mean, that's what matters. That's the thing, she knows my folks are there. And, especially early on, my mom would say she went to the grocery store. And I was like, you can't go to the grocery store. And she was like, everyone's wearing masks. It was comforting, at least knowing that she was going to Kroger's and people had a mask. So, and they're safe and they're vaccinated. So that's good. And I know this past year. Yay! Me too. It feels so good.
It does feel good.
I know that you've had this. We've all had an incredibly tough past year, but you really have. Because when I left, I was there the night of the volcano. The tornadoes in Nashville. The volcanoes. I was on it. We were leaving Nashville, and then that night is when it happened, which was just random. But I knew that in that time, you had your studio you had your equipment get rained on. And
we had a tree go through our studio and
much worse.
Yeah, the tree actually landed right above our console. So where all of the expensive equipment in the studio is, that's where the tree landed. And then it was just monsoon, water on everything. So it was quite the event.
Oh my gosh. And then, I mean that was really like a few weeks before we were on lockdown all over this,
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's like,
it was crazy. It's like very weird time.
yeah, yeah. And then I know, I mean, and this is just through reading. I was like, what has Meg been up to? And
Yeah.
just seeing, within this time, you've still been making music, but at the same time, you've had, you know, life affecting you, illness in your family,
Yeah.
but then you also got proposed to, right? Are you
Yeah,
getting
that actually
married?
happened before the pandemic. And then our
Ah.
wedding was supposed to happen in April of last year. So that didn't happen.
Is there a redo in the works?
I mean, yeah, I don't know. You know how we've been together for like 9 years. So it's kind of like, we'll do it eventually. I don't know. I feel like we're good.
That's exactly what I did. It was
Yeah.
like, oh, how long? I mean, I think we were together 8 years. We got married the 9th year in New Orleans, just so you
Yes.
know.
That's
One
where
of
I'm
my
from.
favorite cities. That's where she's from. So that's
Yeah.
another. But it was the best time. So whenever
Yeah.
you do, it's gonna
Yeah.
be
It'll be
amazing.
fun. It felt like leading up to the wedding before like quarantine all this started, it was like I was excited, but I was also like completely overwhelmed because it kind of went from being like this small wedding to being this huge wedding really quickly. And so I was kind of like, but so we'll see what happens. We'll see how what we end up doing.
So you're not planning for a wedding, but you've been playing and performing music since you were like super young, and
yeah, that's like all I've ever done.
all you've ever done. So tell us a little bit more about that. And I guess in respect to, you had this horrible accident with all your equipment. Like how long was it until you kind of like, were you able to still keep on making music without that, or kind of what has it been like since then?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, you kind of have to, I'm a yogi. So
Yes,
I
you
try
are.
to practice the whole, like, just go with the flow. Like, okay, this awful thing's happening. And, you navigate and you figure it out. And I feel like we've all had a big lesson in that with COVID, obviously, and the lockdowns and stuff. So we just figured it out. We found a studio that we could rent in the interim that we worked out of like a little room. And we ended up like, we have this beautiful studio now that's been our COVID
awesome.
project, like was building this place. And so it all worked out like honestly better than I could have imagined it working out.
That's so awesome. You have that attitude, and that's another aspect of you that drew me to you, is especially being in Nashville, someone that's also from Nashville,
right.
but being a musician, and I mean, I don't know if you consider yourself a country music artist. I think of you as just an all-around artist, and
Yeah,
you can do everything. But still being someone that uses their voice to stand up for others and to stand up for what's right, especially in this moment, I think it's really impactful being in Nashville and doing that, because I don't think as many people are as strong as they want to be. And so you've been navigating, and like, I think you're ahead of the curve there. Like, you are on top of it. And I thank you for that. It's really important. But how about that maneuvering in Nashville? I don't really know, like, for you, how it feels. Like, what is it? I'm sure you're surrounded by supportive friends, but do you ever feel like I'm an outsider in this?
I mean, I've kind of felt like that, I guess. I mean, I've been in Nashville for 17 years, I guess, at this point.
Right.
So I've kind of always felt like an outsider here. I love it. I have a close knit, what I consider a family here. And obviously my actual family lives here too, but I've always kind of felt like within the industry, like I don't know exactly where I fit in here, but I've had some good experiences and I've done some great things. And I think it's all, just finding your people and doing your thing. And that's kind of what I've done. I've never really I've never felt the need, I guess, to fit into like the music row scene necessarily. I do have some friends in that world, but
I was going to ask you, like, so Meghan, it seems like you like to defy kind of like genres You kind of like to
I was
defy
like, defy. Yes, I do.
expectations. and honestly, you are kind of defying things in respect to what Shonali's talking about, which have some more serious implications in terms of social activism. And she sent me an article where you decided to kneel during a national anthem. And I guess it's
her performance.
Or right.
She
right.
yeah,
You were exactly.
Yeah.
You were performing it. And so I guess, like, what led you up to that decision? Are you still happy that you made that decision? And also, do you see a value? I'll stop there. What led up to that, and what made you are you still happy that you did that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously this was 2017, I guess. So it's been a few years when that happened, or maybe it's 2018. It's been a while. But you know, I just felt like, I don't know, I just always try to do what's right, I guess. And it felt like the right thing in that moment to do. And I didn't really think about it a whole lot. I just kind of knew in that moment, it's like, okay, you're making a statement no matter what you do. And I just wanted to, you know, just use my platform. It was a huge platform in that moment. There's so many people watching, and it was, you know, the night before. It was at a
Titans football game.
It was a Titans Seahawks game, and the night before was Trump had called the players sons of bitches. And so that ended up being like a whole thing. And they were like, we're going to televise every anthem tomorrow at the game. So my anthem wasn't even supposed to be televised at all. And so I was like, well, in this moment, I have a platform. I have to use my voice because I am a white woman in country music. And this is how I honestly feel, you know? So it was, I don't know. I didn't think about it a whole lot. I just did it. And then it was kind of like all hell broke loose afterwards.
So given the fact that hell broke loose, can you just, I mean, I think that sometimes folks like myself and Shonali we don't really know what people like you go through when you use your voice. And you know, I think for us, there's kind of this expectation, like we're like, you know, if you consider yourself a friend of ours or like this or that, it's like, well, like, of course. And anywho, I'm so curious in terms of what that fallout looked like. And like, is it stuff that you expected? Like, you're just like, of course, these people are going to be pissed off. They're Trumpers, they're MAGA. Or was it like, did you get any surprising responses to what you did? And the last part of the question is, are you happy you did it?
Yeah, I mean, it was a mixed reaction. It was like, it was interesting because I lost a bunch of followers really quickly on my Facebook, and then I gained a bunch of followers on my Facebook, but I also got like some crazy, you know, messages and some crazy death threats and some just insane things that people were sending me. But then I also had the people that were like, you know, thank you. And I had veterans. I had guys in like Afghanistan sending me like pictures of them kneeling, and they were like, thank you for doing that. That's why we're here. And so that was really cool, you know, and it just, you know, it just was it's a mixed reaction. It's a very polarizing time, and it's a polarizing thing. And, you know, but I think you just have to know where you stand and just be strong in that and do what you do. And that's kind of what I was doing. And I didn't really, I don't regret anything. No, I never regret anything. I open my mouth all the time. I get in trouble.
It's so, for me, it's so refreshing. It's so fantastic. And you're just being yourself. But, you know, the other part of that is there's so many people that you probably are helping, like, believe in their own voices and just be themselves, because there are a lot of people that are quiet that do want to speak up, you know? And so
for sure.
And I definitely talk to them. I mean, they're our friends. All of us have those friends.
Yeah, you know, for sure. And I have a lot of those friends within the country music industry who are, you know, it's just very like, I feel like up until very recently, it was like, you weren't allowed to talk about anything as a country artist. And if you did, it was like, stay away from that person. And I felt a little bit of that. But I do feel like there are more artists speaking out now, you know, in the last year, and artists with huge platforms. So it's refreshing. You know, it's cool to see.
It's so cool. Well, you also, I just want everyone out here that's watching know that you you were crowned the runner-up on The Voice season 8, and
Yeah.
I mean, I seem to always, and this is no offense to people that have won it, I always think that runner-up is the best singer.
Mhm. No,
It's a
it is.
mix-up.
It's
You
the
rec-
best. It is because you get to go through the whole thing, and then you get all the exposure and everything from the show, but then you don't have to sign a horrible record deal. You know?
It's true. You get to be you, do you on your own time. You don't have to give up all this crap to them. I mean,
Right.
yeah, it's so awesome, and it is such an accomplishment. Like
Thank
now,
you.
every time, it just keeps it is mind blowing. There's so many amazing performers that get on there. To
Absolutely.
be in this space, and you have done that, is just, I mean, I'm a singer and I'm a musician and I have done this for a long time. And so I want to say your voice, it just blows me away. It's so awesome.
Thank you.
Well,
Yeah.
Thank you.
speaking of your voice, and it's so interesting to kind of be a part of something that is going to continue to have a life of its own, irrespective of like what you do, but
Mhm.
you'll still be kind of attached to it. Like, what's going on with your voice now? Are you planning on some like socially distant, like live engagements, or what's the best way to hear your voice?
Yeah, I've just been living in the studio because I mean, COVID, that's what we do. So I've been writing and recording new stuff, and hopefully gonna get back out on the road because I miss it a whole lot. So hopefully we can play some shows soon and do some things, because everything's kind of behind the scenes right now, just trying to figure it all out. And, we put out I've put out some stuff recently and had some cool things going on with stuff I've released, but definitely going to be releasing more soon. So
That's exciting. And I'm with you. Like, it's slow and steady. We don't know what's going to happen. It's like we're all sort of just doing it. I mean, I have a lot of anxiety about it because it's just like, it seems like we're all delicate and we're all about to emerge into this thing, but who knows? But your music, we were going to share some of your music. In fact, I wanted to know, because I keep reading that you go to Alaska, to this town. What is that? How did this happen? Like, how is this a place that you guys, and I saw you drove, I saw something like, we drove there, and I went, you drove?
No.
Where, did you? No, okay.
I didn't drive.
I was like, okay. I was like,
absolutely not.
How did you find this town, and what is it, and where is it? And
well, it's Homer, Alaska, and I've gone, I don't know, I've probably gone like for 4 years. I was going like yearly, and then obviously I didn't go this past year, but it's just a beautiful place. I had a booking agent that booked me some shows up there, and it's just cool because like people don't travel there for shows a lot. It's kind of far. It's far to fly there. I feel like it's like flying to another country. So I was kind of like, I just want to see Alaska, so let's just go and see. And I didn't even know if I would like it because I like the outdoors a little, but I like city and I like things in close proximity and all that. But, and I don't like the cold. I'm from New Orleans. So I thought I would hate it. I ended up loving it. And now I want to go back all the time. But it's just a beautiful place. The people are amazing. Honestly, the people remind me of people from like Louisiana where I grew up. Because it's very like, there's that whole like alligator Cajun culture in Louisiana. And then you've got this whole like Alaskan, bear people. And it's like, it's almost the same thing. But everybody's just so kind, every time you go, they're like, here's some clothes. I know you don't have warm enough clothes, or here's like, get on our plane and we'll fly you here or whatever. It's just like a whole experience.
You made me want to go. That's what I saw. Well, everyone will see, but after I read a few times, like we went back to this place we love, Homer, Alaska, and I was like, I've never even known.
Kenai Peninsula. That's where it is. It's beautiful. It's just, I don't know. It's amazing. You have to go to Alaska. Go check it out.
I mean, I think that's like the great segue to check out the video that I think we have teed up, because if you can't be there in person, check it out vicariously, right?
Yeah, that's right.
we're gonna share this song that is called "Nowhere with You," which really I love this so much, and we'll discuss it later. But this is Megan's fiance is Tyler Kane, and they wrote this song together, right?
Yeah, we wrote it with our friend Tiffany Goss, and we recorded it, and then filmed the music video when we were up in Alaska, and yeah, it's
so awesome. So Justin's going to share it with us, and then we'll just discuss a bit after it's done. It's so gorgeous.
Thank you. Yeah, it turned out beautiful.
It did.
Oh, there you go. Look at this.
Yeah, here we go. I want everyone to hear your beautiful voice.
Oh, you're so sweet.
Everybody wants to go to Paris. Everybody wants to ride on the Ferris wheel. But I just want to stay still. Everybody wants to go where it's loud, but I only want to be here with you now. 'Cause you are the best view. You're my first class ticket to anywhere. 30,000 feet, one kiss, you take me there. I love going nowhere, nowhere with you. You can't buy it, you know I tried it. Who knew that I would find it going nowhere with you? Nowhere with you. I love going nowhere with you, my love. Going nowhere with you, I love. Going nowhere with you. We don't have to swim the 7 seas. You're the only wonder that I need. The only dream that I wanna dream. We don't have to be nothing that we're not. Mountain tops. With you I'm high as I wanna be. You're my first class ticket to anywhere. 30,000 feet, yeah, you take me there. I love going nowhere, nowhere with you. You can't buy it, you know I tried it. Who knew that I would find it going nowhere with you? Nowhere with you. I have wished upon a million shooting stars. Every wish was granted when it landed where you are. I love going nowhere with you, my love. Going nowhere with you, I love. Going nowhere with you. You're my first class ticket to anywhere. 30,000 feet, one kiss, you take me there. I love going nowhere with you. You can't buy it, you know I tried it. Who knew that I would find it going nowhere with you? Nowhere with you. I love going nowhere with you, my love. Going nowhere with you, I love. Going nowhere with you.
Woo! Yay! Oh my God, such a gorgeous song. It made me cry earlier.
Oh, good.
I feel
That was what I was hoping for.
I feel like it's like the ultimate love song because I think when you find someone, and I'm very in love, so
Yeah.
but when you find that person where nothing else really matters, I mean, sure, we are artists and we're always going to create, but
Right.
ultimately, like you appreciate just being with that person. And that's,
it's everything.
So guys, if you're not in love yet, this is that's the way it works. It's so awesome.
Roast. I'm just
Dr. Love.
It's so beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah. And did you have a crew? How did you guys,
dude,
because
this is the craziest thing. Cause my fiance, that was the day he proposed, and he had found this guy, Noah Douglas is his name, in Homer, Alaska. He found him on Facebook. He hired him to shoot the proposal, and then he shot the music video. So he just like did it like on camera, you know. And
wow. And did you co-write the song together, or?
We did, yeah. We wrote it with our friend Tiffany Goss. So we wrote it a long time ago, and then we finally put it out. But
wow,
I cannot believe that guy just shot that video.
Dude,
like
he
that.
shot it and edited it, and I was like, "Oh my god!" Like, I did not think it was gonna be that good. It was just like some random guy on Facebook. I was like, I felt bad for him because I was like, "This guy, does he know what he signed up for?" You know, Tyler's like getting his money's worth. You know what I'm saying? He was like, "We're gonna get this proposal film. We're gonna get the music video." All in one day.
Tell him he did good. I think he did so good. He did so good. Well, I was going to tell you, we were just talking about Nashville, and I have like my relationship, you know, was growing up there. So then I had all these friends growing up, and then all of them in music, most of them left, right?
Yeah.
Other than our friends' parents that were in country music or wrote country. But like, you know, you're the punk rock girl, just like you left New Orleans. It was sort of like, okay, we leave.
Yeah, they left Nashville, yeah.
But then I had so many friends that are from other cities that went there, right? Mm-hmm. And so anyway, I have this relationship where those of us like you that are ready to talk and be like honest about the world, you know, our voices really do fit into country music and in that space, and it should, and it is happening more and more. But anyway, I'm just going to let you know, I'm working on something. I want you to, I'll DM you or text you later, and I wrote a character. Kim Murray is one of the characters, which is our mutual friend, who is a makeup artist who has worked with, and and so I wanted to be based on sort of that honesty in that world, and especially an Indian woman that grew up there trying to fit in that world too.
That's cool.
But you are a voice that's like, always is like, she will, So comedy, dramedy, you know. So
I love
that's another project for you, Meg.
Yeah, I am. Listen, I'm in. You just gotta tell me a little more about it. That sounds awesome.
I love it. And I want to thank you again for your voice and speaking up for social justice, speaking up for George Floyd and Ahmaud Arbery and Breonna Taylor, and like being on it. And
did you lose me?
There you are. There you are.
Sorry.
There you are. But all of those things equal like such a huge. It may be a little thing in some ways, because it just takes you to speak up. But the fact is, for all of us, especially POCs, having white friends speak up on behalf, like that's what is the only way this is all going to change, right? I mean, that's the power. And so what you're doing is like helping us change the world together. Thank you. It's really meaningful. It is.
I'm just trying to do my part, man. And
you're
trying to do the right thing. I don't really look at it as like, it's just like, do the right thing.
It's who you are. Exactly.
In terms of doing the right thing on something that's not as heavy as racial justice or lack of it, Meghan, what's the biggest thing that you're looking forward to in the summertime?
Oh,
me?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what do you mean?
Like fun stuff, like
you mean like fun stuff?
Anything,
fun stuff.
Let me rephrase that question.
I'm like,
is there anything that you're looking forward to in the future?
Oh my god, you're so funny. I saw this. Sorry, this is totally off topic, but I did see this like meme today, and it was this girl on TikTok who was like 12, and she was like showing people like, oh my god, this is a skirt, but it's also shorts, and it was a skirt. Of course, but she thought it was a new thing. I just feel very old. That's all I'm saying. But my plan My plans for the summer. Honestly, I've been gardening a lot. I know that sounds lame, but
love it.
I've gotten really into plants recently.
That's
my dog, plants, dogs.
I love it. That's great.
Athlete.
Yes. Find your green thumb, everyone. Lean into it. It's great.
Lean into it. It's time.
Grow things. Grow things.
That's
I baked
what I've been
banana
doing.
bread yesterday. I mean,
all right. You know what? We could talk till midnight. Oh my God, this is wild.
I want to say one of my fun things in this week was listening to WWOZ and all these old performances of Jazz Fest in New Orleans this week. It's coming up, and we made jambalaya for the first time, and we are killing it. I'm gaining weight this week. I don't care. But that's my fun thing.
Yay, I love that.
All I can say is my fun thing was just wearing my Crocs. But Megan, it's not about me. This is about you.
I mean, honestly, that sweater's pretty fab too.
Yeah.
That's a fun thing.
Thank you. It doesn't mean your city. This is Rowing Blazers is the name of the company that makes it. And initially it's Princess Di sweater. But I gotta say, Megan, your combo of sweater to couch pairing really beats my situation.
No.
But show her your Crocs that you just shared with us earlier. This is what
you're wearing them right now?
They match my sweater, actually.
Wait, I can't see them. I need another close-up.
Yeah, you need a focus. Let them sit there. Wait, hold up. There.
Oh, I saw them.
Okay. So this is a thing that we've been discussing. He has one friend that wears them. All his other friends are not into them, but he doesn't wear them out. He's wearing them at home.
You just wear them in, right?
For now, but it's a slippery slope, Megan.
For now.
It's slippery. I'm just doing little night runs to take the garbage out and check.
That's how it starts.
You took them outside, Christian. I'm not for this.
Just to the foyer. Listen. We've kept Megan long enough. We need to go back to make music.
Oh,
we love
awesome.
you.
Thank you so much. That was so fun.
Thank you so much. Thank you for letting us share your music and talking to us. And we will be in touch about our future projects together. Okay.
Yay.
Awesome,
love
Megan.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.
I don't know how to leave.
Okay, bye. We'll do the awkward goodbye. I'll do my bye. Because Chanel just did a bye.
No!
You just did one to Megan.
Mickey.
You're like, we'll think of future projects. Bye. You did it. You're still a perpetrator, even though you want to think you're a saint. You're not a saint.
Are you still talking? Are you still listening to your voice?
You're a perpetrator.
Keep talking, please. Can you keep talking?
God,
Justin, will you come in here so we can stop hearing Christian? Please? Justin, we need you. Guys, thank you for being with us. That was so great. Justin, I think he's coming. Here he is.
Fine. I'm a little slow.
Intern coming in
We want to thank, first of all, thank you, Megan, for being with us. Megan Linsey, what a superstar. Stefani, that was amazing. And we have Justin Joseph Hall, the winner. He was a director of a short film called Prologue, written also by our friend Piper Whirl, and many of our friends were Whirly. I've always said Whirl, but it's Whirly. She's like worldly. But this film won an award, and I'm going to read the name of the award. There it is. It's called the Platinum Remy Award. And congratulations. You won it at the Houston International Film Festival this weekend.
Yeah.
And Justin, aren't you glad you went?
Yes, I am. It was so fun. And first time I get to see it with people in the theater. And then give me this thing of best short.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
The-
Thank you. So
Did they
excited.
present it to you in like some hot Texas sun? Is that how you got? Is that what happened to your nose?
No, we did this and then we went sailing. I drove the sailboat.
You went
That's how I got it.
sailing. So maybe you need to get a sail hat.
So
Just-
wait-
Do you guys see how Christian did not say congratulations? He
I
just
did.
started
I
making fun of
clapped.
them.
Yeah, I
I
noticed.
clapped.
I noticed.
I mean, can we
He's
help
still thinking
him,
about
everybody?
Crocs.
Will you all help him? Tell him to take off his Crocs. That's what he needs to do.
I think his toes too tight.
Janelle, I
But
can see what you're
Justin-
trying to do. You're trying to get your licks in really quickly at the end of the show. I hear you. I'm taking notes. I'm coming for you at the top of our next one.
I'm not
Justin,
the one
Don't let
talking. I am
Shanali trick you into any type of propaganda, Shanali.
not the one talking. I was
I am
congratulating
saying
Justin.
congratulations to you if Shanali would give me space to say it. So congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
You're
It
welcome.
worked. Justin, it worked. He finally said it. All right.
Next time you win your award, Justin, wear some suntan lotion. On that note,
Trying to match your sweater.
exactly. Call you the red turn. All right. On that note,
We miss you guys. We're slowly creeping out of this pandemic. I'm so happy
yeah,
for
we're
those of you
creeping
that
out of
are
this
safe.
show too. So let's creep on out. Let's go.
Thank you all. See, I want to say thank you. We
You've
said
been saying that the
congratulations.
only person you didn't thank is me.
you. We want to thank our guest again and thank Justin Joseph Hall. Oh, and Jasper should come in and listen to you,
Oh,
Christian.
still can't thank the co-host.
Make
Okay.
say hi. You just come in here before we're about to go off the air.
Hi,
I want you to see
Jasper.
Christian's face. Look,
Yo, Jasper, can I get a thank you?
he needs a thank you. Can you just say thank you?
Yeah, thank you, Christian.
Can you hear him? Oh,
Really,
Okay.
Jasper? You were reluctant, but I'll forgive you. That was
he said
reluctant.
you were reluctant, but I'll forgive you.
That
He
was
can't hear you because
reluctant
of
gratitude. Yeah, you feedback that to him. Reluctant gratitude. And on
I don't know, I
that note,
can't hear you.
and on that note, and on that note,
We love you guys. Thank you so much. We'll see you next month. Follow us on all social media at WDEK Podcast. And good night. Woo,
Justin's
I love
giving
you.
the daddy wave. Oh, good night.
I love you. I love you, Christian. Even though you don't know that, I love you.
Reluctant
Bye.
gratitude, Shanali.